Here's some news. Go back to bed.
No, I need quiet from like 6:30 until 11 a.m. Mic check, mic check.
Hi there. Again, you're watching Chelsea and Tony live, and this episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. So you can try Squarespace at squarespace.com/Tony and use the coupon code PORTFOLIO for 10% off. If you'd like to try it before you buy it, you can do that for freezies. No credit cards needed. None of that fancy schmancy lock you in for the rest of your life stuff. Just go there, try it for free for 14 days, see your pictures in all their glory.
Check out the cool analytics. You could even set yourself up a store, sell prints and such.
Yes.
If you have set up a Squarespace site, send us the link at sdp.io/link in the course of the live show, and we might review it.
We'll judge
We'll review
the
somebody.
heck out of it. Yeah.
Hey, Tony, I was going to switch to your TV, but I think we got to do the old reconfiguration on your monitor there.
Oh,
You see what I mean? It's a blank screen.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Gotcha.
Chelsea, you want to introduce everybody while I fix that?
Sure. So we've got Siobhan out in Philadelphia. She's going to be looking at your architecture photos today and sending some through to us if they fit the theme. She's going to be fielding your questions. So if you have any questions for Tony or me or Justin or Siobhan, you can ask in the comments now and she'll relay them to us. We got Justin over here switching cameras like a madman, holding down the fort. You can ask him questions too. We're all without beers or wines today. So we're kind of just chilling. We're not even trying to entertain you. We're just trying to make it through the day. It's 1 p.m. here. Siobhan, what are you up to? Oh, we're going to New York tomorrow. As a group, we're going to be at Photo Plus. So maybe we'll see you there if you're going to Photo Plus.
Yeah, Photo Plus, a big photography convention in NYC. So if you're going to be there, we're not having a meetup or anything, but just look out for us. Say hi if you're watching. Should be working now, right, Justin?
Yes,
Sweet.
we're in business.
Did you guys set a password today?
Oh, yeah.
Structure.
Oh, did you see what mine was?
You had said it to something, but
Tuba.
tuba.
Because
Seems
people
right.
always try to guess it, so I was going to just freak them out. Can't guess.
It's structure, sorry. They
Wow,
changed it.
that's really...
So we're looking at your architectural photos today. Go to sdp.io/submit. Send in one photo. We'll take a look at it during the live show, or we'll try to get through everything. I bet we can get through everything today because architecture is not going to be the most popular show. It's not going to be like wildlife.
Why do you have to crush my dreams?
Your dream is to not get through all the shows?
So next week we're also going to be away on Thursday. So we're going to do it Wednesday again at 1. Is that okay with everybody? I didn't really run this by anyone. And the topic is going to be the right light. So find one of your pictures with the best light, one where you think the lighting absolutely makes the picture, and send that in. That one should be popular as all heck, Tony.
Yeah,
Everyone,
I think that's a cool idea.
Literally, you can't take a picture without light. So, pretty much.
Don't you challenge me.
Pretty much. Really counting on you guys for that one.
A little bit of news this week.
Oh my God, people are losing their crap over this.
Well, I know, right? A new 70-200 from Nikon, and the other one isn't that old. But rumor has it that this one has some new stuff. Like, I think it's going to be a little bit sharper and whatnot. But no focus breathing, which has been a big deal for us. It's been a big deal for a lot of people.
So no focus breathing, and the focus breathing, no one would admit it existed?
Oh, I think everybody admitted
They
it
did.
existed. Yeah, but yeah, they've fixed it now. A lot of people say they didn't care about it. And it's fine, they didn't care. But a lot of people did care, including us. So I think they actually sped up their rev cycle a little bit to kind of address that problem because it was a big deal for a lot of portrait photographers. They also announced a new 19mm tilt shift lens, which kind of surprised me. But it's on the topic of architecture, and tilt shift lenses do tend to, they give you the ability to straighten out the angles on a building
Yeah.
in camera. And that never appealed that much to me. Like, I never minded. I'd rather just do it in Photoshop, and I never saw any big penalty for that. But if you're an in-camera person.
Different styles for different people.
Yeah. The thing is, those lenses, like, it's a 19mm prime lens. It costs like $3,600 for the tilt shift lens. And wow, That's a lot of money
Oh, wow.
for just kind of staying out of post.
I will say, if you have a really specialized lens, it can make your photos stand out a lot.
Yeah, and if you're a pro, $3,600 isn't a big deal.
Yeah, you just throw that away for fun.
Yeah, professional photographers just rolling.
Rolling in the cat.
I thought I made a slide for it, but we also have the new Godox. It's not that new. AD600B and AD600BM, and they're kind of unique strobes in that they're battery powered. So they're like studio lights, but they're battery powered. They have radios built into them, so you just put that little radio transmitter on your camera. They also support high-speed sync and TTL. So it has like all the benefits of a flash, but with a proper Bowens mount. So you can just put like a real beauty dish on there.
Yeah.
And 600 watt seconds of output, which is like generally enough for even shooting in like full sun and kind of blowing the sun out.
We actually realized we needed this at Photokina when we saw a similar product, and we were like, this
Yeah.
needs to be in our life. We'll try
And
them.
you know how new this is?
You just peeled off the film?
Yeah.
Now
It's-
we'll never resell it.
but
just
it's
kidding.
worth it. Okay. We have
Okay. That was exciting.
sorry about that noise. 2 items for chit chat before we start looking at people's
Not a big
pictures.
chit chat kind of day.
Yeah, I think we have had lots of comments, but we haven't had a chance to go through
So you had this one 11 hours ago. Nick said, Tony and Chelsea, more like peanuts in Chelsea, am I right? I don't get it at all.
I don't know what that meant. It made me laugh, though.
I just saw you almost get pwned by this kid, but then it was a reverse pwning. He was like, what? Did he just say Yui for Yui? What? And you said, I was a Microsoft dev. That's how everyone said it. And he said, WTF. Gamers call it UI, as in UI, not UE. And his name is Hot and Horny. Like, this is what we deal with. This is one part of my job I hate, is that you can work so hard on something and then some little shit named Hot and Horny is just like, mistake. I just want to like quit. I just want to quit.
But he's an authority. He's a gamer, not the guy who wrote 30 development books for Microsoft. But Hot and Horny, the gamer. Thanks. I don't know what I would have done if he just hadn't called me out on what he perceived as a mispronunciation.
You still respond to people. I just take a deep breath at my desk with my coffee, like, in my mind, I just scream into the nothingness. Go on with my day.
I will say you read my comment differently than it sounded in my head. You were like, that's how everyone said it. And in my head, I was just like, that's how everybody said it.
No, in your head, you were like, that is how everybody said it.
No, don't sound like a
I think
Southern
I
belle in my
know.
head.
I think I know you.
Okay, let's take a look at some architecture photos.
You can really just way misunderstand someone in writing. You can insert some drama that's not there. It gets dangerous. You okay?
Yeah, I was just starting the import and just pondering the debates tonight.
No, don't. You don't bring that up here. This is my sacred space.
You're not going to take Casey Neistat's advice and tell everybody who to vote for?
It wouldn't work. It
That
wouldn't
would
work.
not work at all.
It just wouldn't work.
Can't change anybody's mind anyway.
You could be like, your
If they haven't
favorite
made their mind up
candidate killed a baby and then a puppy and then said, I'm going to run this country into the ground for fun. And people would be like, that's some honest shit right there.
That's what I like about him or her.
This is sad.
I don't know why all I can see is Burdick.
Burdick. Yeah, that's architecture. I don't have any feedback. Do you?
Yeah. No?
That's fine.
Sorry.
Justin was up. We got a chuckle from Justin. I like this house. It gets good sun.
I like the house too. I'm only laughing because I feel like we haven't really hit our stride yet today. We're
I'm just
thrown
having,
off a little bit by the weird time and such. I feel like the crop on the left side was a little bit awkward.
Okay.
Like it was a little bit too tight for me.
All right, we're going to get into this. Next one.
This is
light.
kind of a beautiful shot, right?
Yeah, good lines, good background. It's interesting building.
I will say this happens with HDR all the time, and that the contrast ends up getting too low. So I always just end up trying to restore a little bit of that contrast. It'll make it
Yeah,
look a
you
little more
do.
natural, and you can still kind of keep all that drama in there.
You know what I find that I see you not handling right now? Sometimes with the HDR, I find that the colors get too saturated and dark, and it makes it look very unnatural.
Oh,
That happens.
I like the way they positioned, like they framed it square and found a time of year when the sun would be setting in it.
Yeah.
That makes it really interesting.
Let's bump up this contrast because you can see we need some white.
Yeah, to me, the shot is almost abstract, like it's about the lines and the shapes. And I think there's so much detail in it before that it could be distracting from at least what it meant to me. And so, yeah, upping the contrast
Yeah.
hides some of that detail and makes it a little more obvious.
Again, just a little more contrast. You can see things. Well, I guess the sky is white, but still, the subject doesn't have a lot of contrast. Do do do. Okay, I guess that didn't help that much.
Yeah, and how do you feel about the building that's just kind of
Jutting out,
looming in the side there, like photobombing the
Spooky.
photo?
spooky little building. I don't know how to feel about it. It adds architecture.
Yeah, maybe a different time of day would make this more interesting too. Like maybe if it were lit up or there was something else to it. This is definitely an interesting architectural spot.
Yeah, it's like.
Once again, I feel like it's been over HDR'd a little bit, but depends on the clientele. And the bus is really distracting for me too, mostly because it's so brightly colored.
Yeah.
This might be a good spot for, I don't know, maybe a long exposure that could show the motion of cars and thus abstract them a little bit, or maybe a good spot for doing night photography, though I do like the way the buildings blend into the sky.
Gary, what up? Good contrast. Liking that.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful shot. Cranes are always wrecking skylines, aren't they? Not that it wrecks this photo, but they always stand out to me.
I'm just brightening it a bit. That's pretty much what I do around here.
Yeah, you got some good detail
I
in
like
the
it.
sky.
This is gorgeous. Really nice.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. And it also feels like very true to the theme. I know architecture is kind of a difficult theme to grasp, but this one actually speaks to me about the design of the bridge. I might even raise the whites just a little bit, let it peak just a little bit more, but very nice. I'll give it a pick.
I like the double-decker stuff of the George Washington Bridge.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice that.
I just did because of the title, but it's cool.
Oh. Yeah, that is cool.
Wow. So I think that the focus here is on the lines and not so much the colors. So I might put it into black and white. And then I might even just isolate the repetition since the words are getting a little distracting here. Something like that. Simplify it. That's all. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think those are really good suggestions.
I wish there was
Black
like a
and white helped
little
lot.
lady here doing something creepy.
Yeah.
It's October. We
Try
need
to
to
put a lady up there.
We should have done a creepy theme for next week. I'm so
Oh.
off my game.
It's not too late.
It's too late. It's gone.
It's not too late.
I'm not festive enough.
Is next week? Yeah, next week would be Halloween.
Dang. This is a cool building.
Yeah, and I like that they thought about the sun, because that's what's going to separate a mediocre picture from a really good picture, is planning around the weather and the position of the sun or the moon, that kind of thing. And they did a good job of that. I like kind of the double glints of it. You might even find a different angle or wait for a different time of day until the sun is just kind of peeking out, so it doesn't completely overpower the photo, using the building to partially block the sun.
Cool. I like it. Very
Here,
quaint.
Yeah, it's kind of so low contrast through here that it's difficult to even make out the like architectural elements of it. Don't you feel like this all just kind of blends in visually?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's nice to pick an element or a part of the building that just represents the architecture overall. So instead of trying to get the whole thing, maybe choose the roof line here, and then you would be able to see the detail of the construction. Sometimes simplifying it makes it more viewable.
Yeah, and a different light might help too, because here the light is evenly illuminating both facets of this chimney, and that steals all the depth from it. But if the sun were coming in at an angle, like if it were coming in from over here, we'd have this side illuminated and this side in shadow, and that would add much more depth. It happens to be right at the main angle where the camera is too. It's almost behind you. This is an interesting photo, but it's got that thing where the main subject, the train here, kind of blends into the background too much. There's nothing to visually separate it. So you can see the difference. But
I'm just being crazy. You just keep talking, and I'm just making something up.
okay.
What were you talking
I
about?
like that you just warned us that you're going to be crazy now.
Loco. This is about as
off the
crazy as they
chain.
get at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday. I like all that. That's my favorite part of the picture. Tony, you were saying something about trains?
Just that we need to find some way to visually separate the train from the background because it's all so busy and cluttered right now. And some ways to do that might be lighting. If everything were backlit, it might separate it a little bit. If it were a hazy or foggy day, that fog would help add some depth, and you'd have more contrast in the foreground where the train was than you would in the background where the buildings were. As is now, visually, because of that high depth of field, everything just seems like it all just blurs together.
Spot color, perhaps.
Spot color, Justin. You're on it.
Justin? Not today.
Beautiful sky. I'm going to give this one a pick. I feel like this is one of the strongest architecture photos that we've seen. And I think the lesson to learn from this is you can't just go take a picture of some building that you want to photograph, because so much of the picture is not the building.
It's how it's illuminated and
right,
capturing what's special about it.
The sky, the timing here with the lights turned on, but still detail in the sky, probably taken, around sunset, maybe a little bit after sunset. That helps a lot. We see a little bit of ghosting around the sky, the edges, because of the processing, but not too bad. And I think the runner really helps add some life to it.
Yeah, I
So
like it a lot.
hang out there and probably just waited for that person to come by, maybe even comp them in, but it works a lot. The challenge for me in this shot is that the main subject is this side of the castle, but it's all in shadow,
Yeah,
like completely in shadow, and that's hiding both the shape and the texture of it. So it seems much flatter than it is.
you're seeing more of the shape up here where you can see that the light is hitting one side of the structure.
Yeah.
This is really nicely lit for architecture because you can see the shapes, the textures that Tony's talking about.
Yeah, but the lack of color, the lack of light also, direct light also minimizes the color. So everything's just kind of dim and washed out, no pop. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to brighten it up some too. Chelsea's holding down the Alt key so she can see the parts that are overexposed, and no reason not to overexpose that. The Guggenheim, that's a gorgeous spot and a great shot. I think it's just artistic and beautiful.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I've seen
I have
so
a
many.
gorgeous building too.
Yeah,
Frank Lloyd Wright.
I was gonna say I've seen so many shots of the Guggenheim. This one's really great. Cool.
Wow.
Whoa.
In Seoul, that's a gorgeous building. I think it's a great shot of it too.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that one a pick.
I like it.
Really simple, no distractions.
Oh.
A lot of people will take these architectural photos with a neutral density filter, and they'll do a long exposure in the day and kind of let the clouds move behind it.
Yeah.
It's just a cool effect. Might
I
be
like
something
that.
to try.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's almost like a trick. Like it's a hacky thing almost, but
But
I like it.
I like it. Oh.
This is one of the most like colorful buildings I've ever seen, or did they crank up the saturation?
No, I think it's just lit, the way that it's lit.
Just like a mixture of LEDs and or maybe it's intentionally lit orange and blue. I'm not quite sure.
Nice colors. I like the colors.
Yeah, I see what you're
The crop
doing.
is a little
Yeah, it's
uncomfortable.
too tight, and I'm not sure the reflection is conveying. It actually kind of distracted me because you have these whatevers in the water. So I might even just have not worked with the reflection here. Well, it's worth to give it a
Or
shot.
done a long exposure, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
This is nice.
Yeah, a beautiful shot of one of the best places to be. And a 25-second exposure, which gives the water this kind of ethereal feeling. I've been using that word a lot lately for some reason. Ah, there you go. So you brighten the whole thing, and then you used a gradual neutral density filter to kind of equalize the exposure a little bit.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's got a lot more pop.
That's
Beautiful shot. I'll give that one a pick.
We both picked it. I like the contrast.
Yeah, there's a shot here, but you got to have a little more patience, I think. You got to wait for that truck to move out of the way.
Yeah.
Because that's
I find that very
just
distracting.
immediately stole my attention when what you want is that nice, smooth, round shape
I don't know
to
if
be grabbing your attention. I was thinking about, just cropping it right out. I think that already works better.
Cool.
So this uses the sun as a focal point. Also, it has an interesting sky. Yeah, I think it's an interesting perspective on it.
the processing was a little crazy in the background. But you blended it really well, actually.
Yeah, the fringing isn't too bad. I think a photographer would notice it.
I love this.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a pick too. Perfect symmetry here, close to perfect symmetry. And they did the long exposure where the sky is kind of blurred, though it's only at 1/200th of a second. So maybe they did that in post. Unless it was a really, really windy day.
I just put a little more contrast in. Just because, I got to mess with everything.
Yeah, it was better with a little more contrast.
So this one, I'm liking this shape in the foreground. In contrast with this rectangle back here, but it's just a little bit dark or lacking contrast.
Yeah, there's also a lot of distractions in it. If we look at the previous picture, what made that previous picture work is that there was no distractions. It was a very simple statement, which is just lines and shape. And this one has all these cars in the background and these shadows and this person standing here. And I do think there's a photo in this spot. I think it's a cool location.
Yeah.
But maybe a little more searching, a little checking, trying different times of day. And you can find what that spot is.
Wow.
That is a crazy building. Man, they love those spires. What the heck?
You feeling inspired, Tony? Think on that one, Tony. I'll explain it to you later.
Beautiful building, and again, the long exposure here worked really well. I can see there were cars there, but the long exposure turned them into nice little lines so they didn't become distractions. Still have some color in the sky. Giving it a pick, it was really well executed. The edges are perfect. It's not cropped too tightly,
It's
nothing
nice.
like that.
It's
nice and
nice.
straight.
Oh.
Yeah, once again, I feel like it could use some extra contrast.
I'm going to bump it up for you. Good texture going on.
Yeah, to me, this is all about texture. I like it a lot. I have never seen a lighthouse like this. Oh, okay, so this is an iPhone picture. It had some quality about it that I couldn't quite pinpoint. I think it might be, maybe it's the iPhone's built-in HDR. Is that a bug? Might be like a bird caught flying, something like that. I think it's a really cool shot. It just had some different quality that I wasn't familiar with. Almost like somebody had lowered the clarity on the shot.
It's
Yeah, you
very
just-
low contrast.
yeah, I think that might be what it is. I think by default, the iPhone might do some HDR processing and kind of like try to even that out a little bit.
Neat. Good lines.
Yeah, I think it's cool with the reflection in there and the
Yeah.
nice framing. It's a good eye.
Ooh. What is this?
That is so cool. Ford Model T plant.
What?
Wow.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and you can tell the shot's a winner because this location is really interesting, and you had us immediately wondering about it and investigating it a little more closely.
Yeah.
I feel like it could, again, probably be a little bit brighter. We do this a lot. Add a little more contrast to it, but I'm going to give it a pick because you got there. I don't even know how you got
Yeah.
in there, but
It captures
that's awesome.
a really important part of our country's history, too.
Mhm.
The assembly line. Guys, that's some crucial American stuff right there. I like it.
Yeah, I do
Kind
too.
of spooky.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have more to say. What do you think?
I definitely think the color version works better.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, I like these reflection
So-
shots. I think it's an interesting juxtaposition.
Oh, he just said it.
That is a super cool building. Any idea what's going on there, Justin?
No, it's a super cool building, though. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a hangar for a space shuttle or something. I don't even know what
That's
they're
what I
doing
thought
in
it
there.
was at first, but I like that Justin was like, I'm going to have to agree with you. This seems to be a super cool building. Nice. I like the contrast in the colors, the gray sky.
Yeah.
Really good.
You're going to raise the shadows, aren't you?
You know me.
Yeah. I actually, now that you raise the shadows, I think the most beautiful part of the shot is the hills. And in the initial exposure, you really couldn't see that dark blue to black gradient that shows the shape of the hills. So I would definitely want to raise the shadows. I think we might end up recovering the highlights here a little bit to, bring the sky out more.
I like that. Let's just give you a before and after.
Yeah,
Good
I still
composition.
feel like we might bring the sky down a little more. But you want to talk to Siobhan a little bit? I'll get a portfolio ready.
I always want to talk to Siobhan. Siobhan, how you living? You got any good questions?
Hey. Sure. You've been to some cities with amazing examples of architecture. What was your favorite structure to shoot?
Wow. There was a bridge in Ireland. That
I was going to say the same thing.
the
And,
Samuel Beckett Bridge.
right.
And also Berlin just has a ton of beautiful architecture. That was just a great city for night photography. And Cuba, Havana was really great for just older architecture and really interesting shots. DC has some really cool monuments and stuff. It's very like stately. London, we were just there, and of course that's really classic. You have like the Houses of Parliament and stuff like that. Tony, what am I missing?
Well, I feel like it's hard not to mention the Eiffel Tower because while it's controversial, it is this compelling focal point that can be seen from so many different spots in the city, and it can
Yeah.
be photographed in so many different ways and has such a different personality in daytime versus nighttime. I think architecturally it's just a really compelling thing to photograph.
Yeah. What else is going on, Siobhan?
See. Do you guys ever go back to shooting film? And if you do, what camera/film do you use?
We did for a while, but I guess I could have gotten my film, pardon me, professionally developed, but I always did it myself, which would mean that you go into the darkroom for hours and hours at a time. And I just couldn't find the time for it anymore. But we used the RB67, the Mamiya. We had a Yashica TLR that we use. And I have an old Canon film camera. What is that? What's the Canon that I use?
You had the 1N, is that the one you mean?
Yeah.
Which is almost like a modern camera.
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
like-
sophisticated.
Yeah, it's really, but the colors you got out of it are beautiful when you use film. But yeah, not so much anymore. Sometimes we'll go back to film, but
And I've been meaning to, because the photographer, if anybody knows him, Chris Ganpat, gave us a
you
couple of
film.
rolls of film, and I need to burn through those.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of 35 millimeter cameras that I like to play with, like
Yeah.
little mechanical manual things.
well, I like that we have the Polaroid back for the Mamiya, so you get to shoot
Yeah.
film and then you
That's
still
fun.
get that. Yeah, you still get that instant gratification.
I saw that. I'm sorry, Justin.
Oh, I was just agreeing with Chelsea.
Oh.
That thing is so much fun. The
Yeah, it's
Polaroid
really
back.
cool.
I saw that Fuji is selling an Instax camera, but instead of, we have those Fujis that make the tiny prints.
Yeah.
They have one that makes like pretty big.
But are they crummy?
That's a good question. I think it's the same film thing though, but
because
it's like a huge camera.
Like the Mamiya is like beautiful. The prints are beautiful,
Yeah.
even though they're these little Polaroids. But we used some modern Polaroid cameras that are like a couple $100 or something, and it looked really crummy. I didn't
Yeah.
think they looked good.
They were tiny.
What else, Siobhan?
I like this question because it insults us. Why are they always stay Chelsea on the left and Tony on the right? Are those their better profiles, or are they too lazy to change lights and etc.?
It's just that we just are into an old habit. Tony usually imports the pictures and he knows how to do it. I actually wanted to switch to his side because I got braces on the side and I was self-conscious, but then we were just too lazy. So we were like,
Yeah, the lights and stuff are a little different. And I ordered you a monitor and stuff, so it's a little more symmetrical.
it would actually be my more attractive side on your side as well. So you're really throwing me
Oh,
under the
you
bus.
like that side?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any idea which side I might look better on, so that's
You look good on
not
both
a
sides.
factor.
That's why you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, you're right. I look good from any angle. Let's take a look at Falca Vision's portfolio. I'll say I liked it. It hooked me in. I looked at like 5 pages, and this is the one that grabbed me.
Yeah,
I feel weird because I have to click enter me.
I don't
Don't you
like
feel a little like, who?
Ew.
Okay.
Some vampire stuff.
Oh, good. All right, we're on theme with Halloween. Oh, that's a great
I
shot.
like that. Oh. I just like that people brought the spooky to me when I wasn't festive.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous shot. Wow,
Ooh.
great mood on these shots.
I like that.
Yeah.
She's like, yep, I still have abs. I like that one.
This guy, he looks awesome. These are all fantastic shots. I see they have a pricing page. I'm just gonna.
Let's buy it.
I kind of want to understand what they're trying to do here. Okay, so they are trying to sell like basic portraits, silver portraits, gold portraits. Okay, so they have different tiers. You're trying to sell portrait work. I want to know. Now I need to find out your name so I can just address you, Bart. Great pictures, Bart. Okay, if you're serious about the portraits, which from your pricing it sounds like you are, I would probably just rearrange those pictures a little bit. Maybe you're just doing it because it's Halloween, so maybe it's like a seasonal thing. But you might start with your more traditional portraits and maybe have a separate section for the Halloween stuff. That would certainly help you bring in more clients. Who
This
are gonna
is
be like,
actually a
"What the heck?"
vampire senior portrait.
Oh, I see.
Really in demand right
Yeah.
now.
But by the way, fantastic shots.
Yeah.
They're all just like great
Look at the
portraiture.
framing of this one. It almost looks like a coffin.
You're right. Fantastic framing on. These are great shots. I guess I was only thinking this other people might be thrown off a little bit if they're just looking for traditional portraits. But if it's not so much about that for you, then go for it. Because I think all these shots are really good.
I like this one. This is what I look like after I read a mean comment. Oops. Good. Good.
I'm just going to browse through Bart's work a little. Gorgeous. Really. That's a gorgeous picture.
Yeah, that's amazing.
This is a gorgeous picture. Wow. I would definitely mix some of these into the default page.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's some real end of world
Wow.
stuff.
I can't even believe you buried this. We almost didn't see this.
How did this happen?
Yeah, we almost skipped right past this just because it's buried down and most people don't browse that deep. You're on Squarespace. Look at your statistics.
Look at your depressing analytics.
Yeah, and you'll see that very few people are getting down to the other pages. These are fantastic headshots. Beautiful lighting.
This looks like some Peter Hurley stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely reminiscent. Man, all your work is on point. Really, it's fantastic. So
yeah, I agree with Tony. Just put what you're selling first so that your clients see what they might be looking to buy.
yeah, and show all your best work by default on the top page and invite people to dig a little deeper. Some people will. Here's what they had to say. Here's what Bart had to say. I first used Vistaprint web services, too complicated, too expensive, poor customer support. Then I used Wix, paid services before, better, but not by that much. I've been using Squarespace now for over a year and I love it. As I'm not website tech savvy, the framework lets you build stunning websites in a very easy way. Customer support is great. Would recommend it to every photographer.
We
Bart?
agree.
Yeah, we do agree. Squarespace
Yeah.
is our sponsor, but Bart just had to pay. They're not even sponsoring him, and that was his testimony.
What other places like Squarespace have tried to host us? It's not like they're the only ones that came
Yeah.
to us. They're the only one that we liked.
Yep. If there was a website hoster that was better, then I would just let them sponsor us. But we check them out, and every single time, Squarespace is just solidly better. We use Squarespace, and we recommend Squarespace because we genuinely think it's the best.
Yeah.
But they're also our sponsor, and they make all this possible. It's a great arrangement. Thank you, Squarespace. If you want your own awesome portfolio, it's super easy. Go to squarespace.com/Tony. They get you a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. Set up your pictures. Find your 10, 15 best pictures. It's a great exercise. Anyway, share it with your friends in that trial period. Then if you decide you want to keep it, you can. And you could save 10% by using the coupon code PORTFOLIO. That lets them know that you heard about it from us. And maybe they'll keep sponsoring the show. Thank you, Squarespace. We appreciate it. You want to look at some more pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Siobhan if she has any more questions, too.
Okay.
Siobhan.
Oh, right now? Kyle Wolf wants to know if we're going to see the return of Doc and Marty for next week's show.
Oh, I forgot that we were that for Halloween last year. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. You'll have to stay tuned.
Yeah, I wanted to go.
We
just
should be Siobhan and
in a
Justin, and
completely
they can be
different-
us.
Oh, that's a great idea. I was going to go in a completely different direction and do Rick and Morty.
Really solid thinking.
Yeah. This white hair doesn't give me a whole lot of costume options. This shot is made cool by the streak of light that goes through it, but also by the shadows that are cast. I do feel like there's just a lot of kind of distraction in here. Like even upping the contrast might simplify the shot a little bit.
Siobhan, maybe people can suggest what we should be for Halloween this year.
That's a
But they
great
have
idea.
some really great ideas.
Okay.
Oh, this is.
This shot's all about the reflections and
They named their boat Shady Lady. Hilarious.
boat names.
Boat people.
What is going on with the weird...
Noise reduction.
Oh, you think it's just noise reduction?
Yeah.
It's at ISO 125 on a D810. It might be some artistic processing thing. I'm not...
I don't know. Like the luminance slider can make things real strange. But
It's
I
a cool
like the
shot. I like the
colors.
reflection.
Yeah. I like the Shady Lady.
I knew you'd go right for that white balance. I was thinking the same thing. I'm sure those are the natural colors you got at night. And some people like them that way, but I always like to go a little more towards
We're
a
not
neutral.
those people. Let's brighten it up. Wow. Nice.
Yeah, then maybe there'd be a way to simplify the shot too. There's just kind of a lot in there. My eye didn't really rest anywhere. This is an interesting take on these particular architectural elements around the window. And I kind of like the vertical slicer. I think it works really well. It's almost perfectly symmetrical, which always bumps my OCD just a little bit. It can be really difficult to get yourself just perfectly lined up.
I can't tell if I made it better or worse because I'm looking at the screen from such a strange angle.
Yeah, sometimes you can use transformations to fix that little bit of error that you build in there.
Oh, you're like a bull in a china shop. Whoa. This is cool
Yeah, I like this a lot.
because there's this repetition, but then some of the windows are open and my eye keeps going there. I like this. I'm giving this a pick.
Yep, I was going to do the same thing.
You were?
Beautiful shot. Nicely done.
And they really took time to like
Crisp.
straighten it out, and yeah, they did it.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's interesting.
Wait, did we meet him? I don't know. Let's contrast this baby.
Yeah.
up.
Drag that white point up. If you looked at the histogram, you saw that
Shamola.
when it started, the whole histogram was entirely on the left side. And that's why it looked kind of washed out like that. And maybe that's part of the story, but to me, that didn't help the picture. I think we might have clipped the highlights a little too much now, but you get where we're going with this.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a delicate process.
Oh, that's really cool. This is a difficult subject with the scaffolding all over it. But the sky gets really compelling. And yeah, I do think it can be brightened up a little bit.
Okay. All right. Wow. Kyle Wolf. He's always bringing it.
I assume it's the Golden Gate Bridge, right? Do you make guesses nowadays? Because people get so
They
upset
are
when I'm
so
wrong.
scared to make guesses.
Kyle, I really like the use of the chain in the foreground. Provides a really nice line that draws your eye back over to the bridge. And of course, not just because it's Kyle, but I'm going to give it a pick just because it's a really nice shot. Pick.
I'm giving it a pick because it's Kyle, and 5 stars because it's not Kyle. Oh. Go back. I like her. I like these lines here. Let's try it in black and white, see if we can bring out those lines.
I like it too. I think our subject here, the person is key to the picture, and some contrast would have made it pop a lot more. She's wearing a black outfit,
Yeah.
and she's against a black background. Now, if she had just taken a few steps forward, this bright rock here might have been her background, and then she would have popped much more, or she could have taken a few steps over here and had that much more contrast. So just kind of think about what your main subject is and how they contrast with their background.
Yeah.
Comes up a lot as we're shooting birds out in the wild, because sometimes if you move over this way, you'll have a cluttered background, and over here you'll have a clean background or a dark background and a light background.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're moving your subject, sometimes you're moving your camera.
This makes me very dizzy when I figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but unfortunately it gets kind of blurry there in the distance, and that's where my eye settles. So it's kind of not satisfying because all these lines draw your eye to the middle.
1/50th.
Yeah, I think I would want you to focus in the distance there.
Where did
since
they
that's where
focus?
the lines go. I don't know. It
Oh,
seems
in
like
the foreground.
yeah.
Oh, right here, I think. Okay. Interesting. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I like it
do.
too. It's a thoughtful picture with this shape protruding in from the left. Interesting. Good shot. Good contrast on
This
it.
is beautiful. I'm going to give this a pick.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. Pennzoil Place.
Siobhan, any interesting comments?
Good
We
costume.
got some Halloween
suggestions.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, a lot of them were whatever, like 10 different people saying Trump. Like, that's not going to be everyone this Halloween. Chris and Jordan from CSTV. Beavis and Butthead.
Work. Beavis and Butthead going old school.
Uh-huh. Or Tony should be a silver fox and Chelsea should be a llama, which is my favorite.
I love to be a llama. Those are good. Tony's already a silver fox. What would he even have to do?
I don't know. I feel like I'd
A
look
little-
real silly with little ears and a little nose
You had a
on.
little nose. I couldn't go out with you with
No,
a little
I don't
nose.
think that would work.
That'd be weird.
Like you being a llama is okay? Like that's real sexy? You're going to be like sexy Halloween llama?
My costumes are never sexy.
No.
It's a personal goal.
Well, maybe llama is perfect for you.
I find that offensive to llamas everywhere. Let's
I like this shot a lot. I do agree it could use a little extra contrast in it, but
the light could have helped with that. Was this
Yeah.
color?
but I still found it compelling,
Yeah.
just with the kind of repeated pattern of columns in there.
Yeah.
And it really did tell me about the architecture of it.
It's ornate.
Give it a pick.
Wow.
First, we have this building jutting in from the left side, and that's really easy to pick to fix with framing or with cropping. Yeah, so just always check the edges of your frame. Oh, you're going to simplify it even further.
Because I didn't like the antenna going off of the frame because it was leading
Yeah.
my eye to nowhere.
I agree with that too. Yeah, check the edges of the frame as you compose your photos.
But I liked the contrast.
Is this one of those tiny models of a city block? Sculpture on ceiling. Okay.
What? Where are you hanging out?
Yeah,
That's
it is
pretty neat.
really disorienting. Okay, that's cool.
Interesting choice with the wire.
The wire is all I can see. I feel like
the-
there's an interesting shot in there, but I can't get past that blurry wire.
But it does tell a story. I like the way that the buildings are composed.
I will
Good
say
light.
with about 10 minutes in Photoshop, you could clone that wire out if that was your goal. If for some reason you couldn't reposition yourself at the time you're taking the picture.
I like this. I like the colors. I like the processing.
Yeah, and the composition is perfect for the subject too. They left a little more negative space around it,
Yeah.
which I think supports the theme of it
The
being
emptiness around
kind of
it. Yeah.
derelict. Yeah, and isolated. Great shot. I'll give that one a pick.
Really cool. Whoa.
That's beautiful.
Good.
I love these simple studies of shape, and the color here is gorgeous. Be sure to clean up that sensor dust you see there.
It's in Luxembourg. We were there, Toner.
Luxembourg, strange place.
Remember there was one homeless guy in Luxembourg and he had a laptop? It's like a very rich place. It's a tax haven, so a lot of huge companies go there to evade taxes. Thanks, guys. But everyone there is super rich. It's almost strange.
Yeah, it's basically like the rest of the world pays a little extra taxes to Luxembourg when a country sets up a tax haven like that. Yeah.
Interesting POV. Look at these birds.
Yeah, that's where my eyes rested, and I was kind of deciding what to do with the picture.
I like it.
Yeah. No, that's really pretty.
Good shapes.
I like the lines here. Yeah, the green of the lights that you get in cities sometimes can be a little overpowering. And it can be impossible to get.
I like the movement
Perfect white
of the
balance.
lights and these two roads converging.
Yeah, maybe even go for a longer shutter speed. Get up to 10 seconds or 30 seconds. I think this is a good
Interesting colors with the rust and the green.
a good example of kind of isolating a part of it to make it find an interesting detail.
This is someone's living room. I like your wood ceilings. Very nice room.
Yeah, I kind of see this HDR style done a lot in just practical real estate photography because they want to, well, first it makes everything seem really dramatic, but it also lets you show the view through the windows, which is kind of impossible otherwise. It can be a difficult balance
Oh,
to,
on a lake.
oh, what a beautiful spot.
Let's go stay with this person.
I feel like they did a great job of kind of conveying it though. It looks really nice. The 9/11 memorial. I feel like those lines have to be vertical. Don't you think that? I guess they don't have to be, but we have some like wide angle distortion there that
Yeah,
we can fix with the transform, and
I like this picture a lot.
I don't want to spend a lot of time with it, but
Maybe lens correction? Oh, or transform. Gotcha.
What did you just do?
I just hit the full transform, and you just never know what Lightroom is going to do. Sometimes it's great.
Crazy business.
Yeah. I find Photoshop to be much better at it, but with the transform, you can see, I think that's my preference. But a beautiful shot, gorgeous sky. I'm sorry I fixated on the transformation of it because it's just my OCD kicking in.
You don't have OCD?
Tell that to everybody whose picture I straighten.
Yeah.
Gorgeous shot, beautiful moment, great sky, great colors. Nicely done.
I like
Pick.
it. Pick. Oh,
I don't know that is better with my transform.
that plane got messed up.
Yeah, what's going on with that plane? That's weird.
Ghost plane. It's like that movie Ghost Dad with He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Who's in Ghost?
Cosby.
Oh.
We don't talk about him anymore. We can't say it. If you say it 3 times, he shows up.
Oh no. Good thing you don't have a beverage. Just gonna brighten that up a little bit. I feel like the right way to handle the exposure with churches like this is to let the glass get a little bit overexposed, a little bit blown out.
Oh, you got like
Almost like
church methods?
yeah,
Let's
I
correct
do.
these colors. Why do lights have to be so ugly?
Churches are impossible because you have some sunlight coming in, but even that's through colored glasses, and then
That's not right what I did to this person, but they know what I'm talking about. Yes.
yeah, I think it works. I think trying it at different times of day and different lighting could help too. You might
Yes.
get a little
You
more
might
of the
get a little
form of the building.
Oh, we went.
Yeah, we've been doing that a lot today.
I like this.
Dubai International Airport. Yeah, I think that was great.
See this? This needs some love over here in your histogram.
Yep. Even night shot should have some white point in it.
True. I wrote that in my book, Stunning Digital Photography. You can check it out.
No, it's a nice, simple study. But what bugs me about it is that the far side of the building is going out of focus. Though it's at f11. Why is that?
Yeah, I was just wondering that. Let's think it over.
Especially at a wide
It's
angle.
in Liverpool.
Okay, that could be it.
So we know that.
Factor that into the depth of field
Yeah.
equations. Just be sure to focus about 1/3 of the way from here over to here. So if you focused right about
Could
here.
it be camera shake? Because they're at 34 millimeters at 1/40th. I mean, if they move their body quite a bit when they took the picture, it could shake it.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, it does look a little shaky here.
I think it
but-
might just be a little shake. This is just lovely.
Yeah, this is gorgeous, and I really like the
This
the
is
people
official
in there.
brand.
Yeah, I'm going to give that one a pick. Oh,
Pick
but except
what?
for your fringing. I almost got by without nitpicking something, but watch the fringing there.
Oh, you just got fringed, official brand. Oh, I like the processing on this a lot.
Do you don't feel like it's too dark?
It's like, I think it meets the mood. Let me bring it up. Yeah, it still looks good if you brighten it, but I think it was intentionally dark.
I think it's a cool spot. It seems like a place that The Weeknd would film a music video.
Wow. I didn't know you knew about that.
This shot feels very busy to me, and my eye doesn't rest anywhere.
Sure. I think they could have just isolated, used a shallower depth of field or something.
Yeah,
Or-
or maybe had, like my eye kind of goes to the center here. If there was somebody there,
Yeah.
somebody pulling a wagon or doing
Yeah,
something.
someone pulling a wagon. Please get on that right now. Speaking of eyes, this guy, he lost his. That's got to be symbolic. Why would someone do that? Very neat.
You never see watches on statues. That's weird, right? Dude's got his
What
watch
is
on.
the story? Oh, he's just pushing his eyeball like that. I thought he was covering his eye.
What is the story? I can see why they took a picture of it. It's
They're
interesting.
like,
And you
this-
made us study it too.
Yeah. Really weird. So close at the top, but you could make more space.
Yeah,
make
cropped a
one-
little tight. And also, again, we have the very flat lighting that isn't highlighting the three-dimensional form of the building.
Sure, I actually like it in color.
I mean, what can you do? They probably took this picture while traveling, and that means they don't get to hang out for a week until the sun comes
Ooh,
out.
This one's neato.
Pick. Gorgeous the way the visual weight is balanced by this. Nicely done.
Wait, where's that?
Airplane?
No, what is the...
Nailed it. feel like we need, actual contrast in the
I
building
think I
itself.
zoomed in on that.
Whoa.
Wow. What is happening? Is this between blinds? Is this...
I don't know if they blended two exposures and things got weird. There's a little bit of weirdness there, but I think black and white makes that work much better. And I'm not sure how important you can kind of see a building through the glass, and maybe that's what they were photographing, but I don't know that it even needs it. I might even just let that get completely blown out. Just go to your original exposure. I think this is gorgeous. I
This is
love
a
the
lot
colors.
of fringing. It looks like it's glowing.
Oh, yeah, it is a little bit. That happens a lot when you blend multiple exposures, and the answer is usually to back off and use like graduated filters instead of, masks and selections.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave this alone. I like the angle.
This is interesting, but I feel like most of the picture is kind of negative space up here where
It's in
nothing is going
shadows.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the lighting is just completely flat, which means everything's a little bit undersaturated. And
I know, because you want to preserve that sky. Totally get where you're coming from.
yeah,
Sometimes you can brighten up the picture and go in and drop the luminance of the blues and just bring a little bit of the sky back. If you do it too much, you're going to get weird fringing. So don't be greedy.
but also the sky is more interesting here than the pavement. So you might just tilt the camera back and capture as much of the building, but but more of the sky. Yeah, something more like that. Other options might be to move closer and use a wider angle lens.
Oh, the darkness. Look at this histogram.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it is. I think it'd be a more compelling shot if it was just taken earlier in the day, earlier in the night when there was still a little detail in the sky.
Yeah, the blue hour. Try it out. Siobhan, any other comments? Questions?
Yes.
Does anyone have any
Uh,
cool ideas about life?
No.
Mm,
No, not many at all.
that's disappointing to hear.
People do want to know about that Godex on the desk. Someone asked how much it costs.
Oh, if you get the model with TTL, it's about $750, which seems like a great price for what it does, especially for 600 watts per second. And if you get the model without TTL, the AD600BM is for manual. They add an extra letter to the name, which means they take away features. Usually, if you add a letter, you add more features.
Yeah.
So the 8600B has TTL. It's $750. The 8600BM lacks TTL, and it's $550. For the most part, for studio lights, you don't care about TTL because you're manually adjusting everything up and down anyway. But if you think you're going to be out in the field where you might be using TTL, where you want the flash to automatically adjust the output based on the distance to the subject or changing lighting conditions, then spring
Be
for
a
the more
time
expensive
saver.
one. Yeah, you can also go to Adorama. They have Flashpoint flashes, which are exactly the same thing. They just write Flashpoint on the side.
Yeah.
So they just kind of rebrand them, but it's the same thing. Adorama might be better getting support too, because I reached out to them, the company, for support, and they just never wrote back.
How long ago?
I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. They just never wrote back. And
That's
then
terrible, guys.
they have a support form, but when you click the submit button, it doesn't click. It's just like a picture of a submit button. So I wrote this whole thing in and click submit, and it's just a
It was
picture.
like, burn. You got burned. What other questions do you have, Siobhan?
Beautiful
Don't go
shot.
past this picture. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I want to
look at that.
re-import, but
I gave it 5 stars.
yeah, I gave it a pick first. I was first there.
No, I
Oh.
was.
I got that.
Do cityscapes count as architecture?
Today, sure.
I wouldn't say traditionally. I think a cityscape is a cityscape, but I know
Yeah.
what you mean. It includes architecture, but I think of architecture as focusing on the architecture itself.
You're right. You're right. The subject of the city's the subject of the image should be the architecture.
Anything else? Is that all, Siobhan?
I've got some gear questions.
Always.
Let's hear one.
Let's help this guy with his wedding photography. I'm new to wedding photography. I have a Canon 5D Mark III, 24 to 70 f4, and a 20 to 200 f2.8. I was strongly advised that I should have a 16 to 35 millimeter. How important is it to have one?
Well, you'll want something wide angle if you're going to be shooting inside of churches and in tight quarters. A lot of the banquet halls can be somewhat tight quarters, so I could see that that would be important.
Yeah, I would definitely get the 16 to 35 f4. There are times when you just have to go wider.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can survive without it. 24 millimeters is pretty wide. But
What
I know
did he
there are
say? He
times-
had an f4 and a 2.8 so far?
Yeah, he has a 24 to 70 f4, so we can go back to 24. Yeah, I would say yeah.
All right. So we're a few minutes over, so let's go through these photos quickly.
This is because they leveled it, I think, and they didn't quite crop right. I'll just call that out.
Oh,
And you can also apply some noise reduction to the sky there. But I really like the
Beautiful
contrast
colors.
on this
Yes.
picture. I upped the
Okay.
contrast quite a bit. We're working backwards.
oh.
I started at the end for no particular reason. This, to me, is interesting. I don't know that the main subject is the architecture of the Freedom Tower, but I think it's an interesting take on New York City.
I like the processing and I like the point of view. I think it tells a story. I'm going to give it a pick. Oh. Interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Sorry I didn't have any immediate feedback for you. This shot is very gray and kind of just overall muddy. I think the main subject is the statue, but you might want to actually get a little closer to it and make the
Yeah.
focal point a little more obvious, like get even like right between those paws almost.
Ooh, this is beautiful. I like the leading lines and the payoff on these people, and they have genuine expressions. It's very nice.
Yeah, I might just process it to bring them out a little bit. Creepy house in New Zealand. It is creepy. I feel like I would prefer it to be composed a little bit wider because it's crowding the edges of the frame.
Yeah, it's
I would
cool
also tilt it back a little bit because the space below is much higher than the space above here. There's not a good balance to it.
I love the lines in this picture, so I'm going to make it BNW.
Yeah.
I'm going to up the exposure and the contrast to make sure we got some blacks, some whites, blow those out.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. I like what you were seeing there. What's going on here? Looks like, what's all that about? Look at all of this.
I think we just have some kind of crazy chromatic aberration going on. The magenta fringing there is chromatic aberration. It's just the way the light passes through the lens. Frequencies can split up as they go through the lens and travel in different directions.
You can fix that here. Where? Oh, if you go into manual, if you see that you have the magenta, you can go to this slider and take it out. If you're doing it on a person, you might turn their lips gray. Do you have a lot of chromatic aberration? Cool.
Yeah, once again, check that white point, but I think it's a nice shot.
Wow, I like the colors.
Yeah, the colors here are really, really pretty.
Nice.
That makes me think of Puerto Rico. Beautiful.
Rochester. What happened though? What'd you do? See how smoothed everything looks?
It is a 1 second exposure, but this shot I think would work better if it was taken a little bit earlier in the day and we still had some detail left in the sky. Like an hour after sunset or so you have. A little crowded for me. Just the fact that his fingertips are so close to the edge of the frame. If you're savvy in Photoshop, you could actually expand the canvas and have it fill it in.
This is
this a person down here? Oh, I feel like we need something for scale because I don't know if it's tiny or huge. So if there were something in there for scale, a bird flying through the frame, something like that, it might help. This feels like it was taken like 50 years ago, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the washing out.
Oh,
Very high key shot. Really very pretty, I think.
yeah, I like it.
Oh, that's beautiful colors in here.
So pretty.
Yeah. The little distractions in there bug me, like the piece of art that's coming in from the left side and the plaque that's in the front there. Yeah, cropping is probably the best way to simplify it. Again, different times of day, different light conditions could better show off the form of that building.
Yeah.
And showing off those round shapes is going to be key to capturing a good picture of it.
Yeah, same with this one. Some side lighting would be nice.
Yeah, it's very flat, but the sky was beautiful.
Ooh. I just want to see what's going on, if there's any ghosts in the window. Nope.
Ghost hunters.
Oh, there's one.
It's happy though, so.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay. We did it.
We did it. We did it.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We're at the same time next week, Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Did we decide that we're going for The Light Made It? Is that what it's called?
I don't remember.
The Right Light.
The right light.
And maybe we'll do our spooky show the week after Halloween, and that'll give people a chance to take pictures in their Halloween costumes and submit that.
Is that? I'm just checking the dates there. That would be.
So next Wednesday at 1 o'clock New York City time. It's an unusual time for us. After that, we'll probably go back to Thursday, unless you guys really just preferred this different time. We thought it would work better for people in Europe.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Squarespace, our sponsors. If you want your own Squarespace portfolio, it'll make your pictures look awesome. Go to squarespace.com/Tony. Coupon code portfolio. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Thanks, Siobhan. Thanks, Justin.
Bye.
That is all.
Tigar. So people still ask about